Welcome, fight fans, to episode 103 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. We're back in 2025 here, January 15th. We're going to be jumping right in to UFC 311 happening this Saturday night, Inglewood, California. Shout out to all those affected by the fires in LA and hope everyone's safe and on the road to recovery. And we do have some breaking news as well. You're seeing the poster here. Sarukian has pulled out of the title fight, and it will be, well, it looks like the match is already updated here. Renato Moicano facing Islam here for the lightweight championship of the world. So we're going to be jumping right into easy lines, getting ahead of that book, meeting you at the cashier Saturday night, and yeah, starting this year off on a strong foot. Um, so Z-Balls, do you want to kick things off here with any comments on this breaking news or the card in general before we get into the match by match breakdown?
No, yeah, no, not that much. Just I noticed it as well as soon as that poster came up. I'm like, oh well, I guess the poster's no good anymore. That was a very kind of tangible, visceral reaction by me because yeah, I mean, Money Moicano, who's got the main event here. I'm very excited for him. Actually, funny enough, just last night I was watching the YouTube video of all his post fight interviews. They're all amazing. So I think if he ends up winning, we haven't got there yet, but I'm not saying he's going to win. But if he does, he's going to give a Hall of Fame post fight interview speech. I know he's going to. It's going to fucking motivate all of us to go out there. So, yeah, no, I'm excited. Even though these last minute switches aren't great, usually they aren't as much fun. But I'm excited for this. I'm ready.
Love it. Yeah, we'll get deeper on that one when we get into the analysis, but yeah, it should still be a great card. And for all of those folks not familiar with some of these names, there are some prospects on the prelims here. Um, the one I'm kind of excited for is this fight here. Sopai, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Think he should come with his hand raised, but the funny one and why I wanted to call it out, he was the one who got knocked out viciously by our boy Lockdog, Hooks and
Mm,
alum on that highlight reel flying knee. So I think he bounces back with a win here, and
I like it.
yeah, just bit of a gatekeeper here with Ricky. So yeah, just if you are tuning in earlier, one to look for.
Yeah, sorry
Otherwise,
guys. We don't have Zoni here to
yeah,
give our usual prelims. He's out sick with the fam, so
yeah.
everyone send your positive comments and thoughts out for him. He'll be recovered and ready for our next one. So yeah, but we got some good ones for the main event here for you.
Yep, yep. And that reminded me, shout out to both our boy Jake Hill, a friend of the pod who might be joining us on a future one, and
Yes.
also Albert, my work colleague, who we were talking about UFC today. So if you guys are watching, thanks for tuning in, and I just wanted to give you a quick shout out. Um, so yeah, if we go into the prelims though, before we head into the main card, there was one fight we were going to highlight here, and that is the Sergey Spivak and Jailton Almeida fight. Reason being, Spivak is Hooks and alum. He was on episode 80. We were looking at it about 2 years ago. And if you look at the topology, that was right before he had submitted Derek Lewis. Looking at Almeida's record, though, he also beat Almeida, or sorry, beat Lewis just after that via decision. But they're both coming off a win. And yeah, it's going to be a pretty good heavyweight match, I think. These odds are throwing me off, seeing heavy favorite and
Yeah.
a plus 350 underdog. Me personally, I think that's a great value play for Spivak. I think this should be closer to a pick'em type odds fight. And I actually think he can win this fight. He's a lot younger. You see
Yeah.
4 years, the advantage there. Otherwise, tail of tape is virtually identical. Same height, same reach. And I don't know. I think Spivak has the skill and the power. I don't know if he'll get a knockout, but I could see him getting a 3 round decision win. Any thoughts on this one?
No, no, I exactly the same pretty much. Just those odd. I mean, I don't know Almeida as much myself, but that's why I didn't want to have any official picks on this one. But well, actually, maybe I almost want to make an official pick right now, just in terms of the value for that. Plus, I think on right now on Bet365 officially, it's plus 350. So, yeah, live odds right now at plus 350. That looks good to me, certainly. I mean, everyone's got a puncher's chance. I don't, this feels more like he should be a plus 200, maybe a plus 190, plus 210, something like that, not a plus 350, unless there's something we're completely missing. But yeah, I like that plus 350 for me.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is true, but I have I guess prediction perhaps that this might get bumped to the main card because of
Right.
that notice there that Sarukian pulled out. So you're going to notice, right? There's only four fights right now slated for the main card. So I
Yep.
think it'll either be that one there or it'll be this Peyton Talbot fight, who, if you guys haven't heard of him, really impressive looking prospect. He's undefeated, uh, only 9-0, but super young, 26. And if my math is right, if I'm looking at it right, he's the heaviest favorite on the entire card. So yeah, you can see that here, minus
Wow.
1100. You don't generally see that when someone's kind of like unproven like he is, but I think it's just a testament to, yeah, his performance so far coming in through contender series and then just making quick work of guys, finishing, it looks like every single fight other than the Dana White contender series. So yeah, this could be a nice firework one to start off the main card or to end the prelims, either way. Cool. Heading in to the main card. I know Z, you did some research on this one. We've got Kevin Holland and the Dutch Knight, your fellow Netherlands boy.
I
Who
like
you
it.
thinking here?
Yeah, no, well, for me, it's a great question of what type of person or fighter Kevin Holland shows up as. You know, for me, it's he's an extremely talented fighter, like skilled in all areas. It's just sometimes I feel like he doesn't fight to win necessarily. He just kind of fights to fight, and he doesn't always have his mindset completely there. So if he shows up, you know, completely on the his game, I think he does have a chance. Otherwise, you know, that's why I'm personally going to go with my Netherlands brother here. Of course, maybe a little biased, but I do think most likely he does get the win here over, unless, like I said, Kevin Holland, like a near perfect version of him, or you know, extremely locked in version of him, I should say, shows up. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to be able to get the win, especially at 185 for me. His power doesn't translate over as much, and he's not able to bully people, get out of there. I think Rainier will be able to get the submission, get a finish potentially, if not, certainly a decision. So, yeah, I'm going with Rainier here. He's a minus 125, so it is a bit of a pick 'em fight. So you know, either way you want to go, probably not Ron totally, but leaning on Rainier and him by submission plus 275. That looks nice to me. If you're looking more decision by him, it's a plus 240. What are you thinking here, Cronsberry?
This one, I'm actually going to fade. I have been going back in my head all week on it. I don't know De Ritter enough to really have like a strong lean either way. I do like the super boost, or it's not super boost, it's just a normal bet boost of under 1.5 rounds submission for De
Yeah,
Ritter at what would that be? Plus 550. So 6.5 to 1 odds.
I
I
like
just
that.
think that's like juicy value. So maybe like a half unit on that one. But in terms of, money line or any other prop bets, I'll probably fade it. I just think it is a pure coin flip and either
Yeah,
could win.
it's a
Holland,
tough one.
I don't like betting on Holland. I always seem to lose. Whenever I think he's going to win, he gets crushed and the opposite. So,
Yeah,
he's a tough guy. You
that's what
never
I
know what
mean. Yeah.
version. Yeah.
You can't. That's why I'm not putting like I mean like I didn't say any like official
Yeah.
units on it per se because I don't know as well. But yeah,
It's just
yeah,
one of
it's
those
yeah,
proceeds with caution and
exactly.
know he's a wild card and you could get him him finishing first round, or he could just get finished first round. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Pretty volatile one to bet on. Let's
Yeah.
keep it rolling though
Yeah.
to what I think is another really intriguing heavyweight match, or sorry, light heavyweight match, and that's Jamal Hill and Yuri Prohaska. Who you got in this one, Z?
Yeah, very crazy fight. No matter what, either way it goes, is very likely to end in a knockout. Yuri is more durable, more lethal striker. Hill is a bit better with the fundamentals, although he does wing his punches out there sometimes. Jamal does have good precision with his left hand, good left kick. Yuri says he's gotten a lot better. He says that, but I hope he means his fundamentals, and he's not going to be as chaotic anymore. But that is what makes Yuri Yuri. That's what makes him, almost a successful fighter. You kind of live by the sword, die by the sword, so to speak. When he does focus on those fundamentals in the fight, he seems to do better. Against Rakic, that was the most Yuri fight ever, where he was completely getting beat up, almost kind of almost bullied, and he knocks the guy out. So, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to take the same shots from Hill. Rakic kicks harder, but Hill punches a lot harder, I
Yeah.
believe, at least. So he's going to have to play it a bit safer there. They both leave their chins out there. Not neither of them haven't shown to at least be super responsible defensively. Although I do think Yuri is going to show some improvement there. So I'm going Yuri KO plus 200. Um, Even if you don't believe that as much, the under 1.5. So again, 1.5 means halfway through that second round, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, plus 110. I think that looks good. They're both kind of crazy fighters. I don't see it going later. I mean, could go to the end of the second round, right? Who knows? But I don't see it happening. I see it happening either in the first round, end of the first round, beginning of the second round. And also, crazy call here, but I have a weird hunch a little bit. But Yuri submission plus 1600. I mean, he always goes for the ground and pound, but who knows? He's a crazy guy. He might switch it up this time. Hill's much more of a striker type of thing. So maybe he goes for that submission plus, again, plus 1600. So you can put a quarter of a unit on
Hmm.
there. And fucking whatever, and sure, like quadruple it up, right? Make four units on that. So that's what I'm feeling for this one. What are you thinking there?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think I like the bet boost Hill under 1.5 by KO. You mentioned it, and everyone knows who's seen Yuri fight. Virtually
Mhm.
zero defense, chin sticking out all the time. I
Yeah,
think he could get caught and slapped. I do think Hill's got a fire in his belly coming off that loss to Alex, and yeah, I don't know, have a weird feeling that Hill emerges the victor.
yeah,
But I do see this one being very, very exciting because of the lack thereof of defense, which as a fan, it's great. It's just
good
not
for
great
us.
if that's you
Yeah, yeah,
or your brain. Um,
exactly.
so yeah, that's my lean, and yeah, I think this will be one of the better fights of the night, if not the best fight of the night. So
Yeah. So if you want to cover both of us there, the plus 110 on under 1.5, or Hill, if you want to go with what Cronsberry said there, Hill finish by KO or TKO plus 175. I mean, again, that's some juicy odds if you're leaning on Hill in this fight. So
that's the double
good
chance.
to take. Good to take. No, sorry, Hill just by KO or
Gotcha.
KO TKO.
Anytime, anytime.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, that's obviously much safer. I just think if he will finish, it'll be early. But like, yeah, you
Mm.
could go both ways and kind of not hedge, just diversify your risk there. But I think it would have been the Beneil fight next versus Money Moicano. So yeah, like I said, they'll probably bump a prelim fight up here. So we'll get right into the co-main, which feels yeah, there's not that many fights, but there are on the prelim. Um, and that's Marab versus Umar, who I believe, yeah, oh no, he's been in the UFC a while now. I'm thinking of someone else, but obviously undefeated, Dagestanian here, and bit of a specimen. This this should be a good fight too, a good matchup. Who you leaning towards?
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning towards Umar in this fight. Obviously, I mean that is the favorite. He's better, in my opinion, at least. He's better than Merab at everything except for maybe the pace Merab has. Then he's able to keep the entire fight, but actually might be unmatched in the UFC. But skills wise, Umar beats him everywhere. I think, which is why you see such a lopsided odds for a guy that doesn't nearly have the resume or notable wins Merab has. Merab has beaten Aldo, Petrayan, O'Malley, of course, Cejudo as well. But Henry's he's a little small for this division 135, but still obviously a good win. Merab likes to force his opponents up against the cage. That's where he gets a lot of his work done, which usually works quite well for him. But Umar, of course, coming from the Nurmagomedov camp, I never get that right or say it right, but anyways, he's going to be extremely well versed in that area. Habib, used to do almost all his work up against the cage. Safe to say that Umar is going to know how to best counter this approach. I could even see him reversing it from the cage, landing some elbows and knees to the body, possibly takedowns of his own. Marab sometimes drops that right hand of his. Umar has some great head kicks. He's very flexible on top of that world class grappling. So that's an answer that could happen. Marab isn't super smooth with his wrestling technique. I think we're going to see that here. And then there's kind of levels to this game, so to speak, and Umar's going to win a lot of those exchanges. In general, he's a bad style matchup for Marab, in my opinion. I think Umar's going to be able to win in the fourth round, get a finish here by like head kick, something like that. Could go to decision as well. Umar decision is minus 105. Even though I do see it happening, there's not a ton of value there. So again, if you want to put a unit or fucking 1.5, 2 units on there, I can't fault you, but there's just, that's probably going to happen. It's just not a ton of value. What I'm personally looking at mainly is Umar double chance at victory, KO, TKO, or submission is a plus 240. I like that coverage. Umar fourth round plus 1400. Umar fifth round is a plus 1600. Again, something you can look at there. Now, all of that being said, I don't believe this should be a minus 275 for Umar. This should be a little bit closer. So if you want to take Marab, I cannot fault you because the value is certainly there. Marab decision plus 333. Who knows? As I said, his pace is crazy, cardio's crazy. Maybe he lasts it out, he's a little better in 2 or 3 rounds more than I think, and he gets that decision win. Very possible. At plus 333, not bad either. But I'm leaning on Umar for this win. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like I do think Umar. I just, to your earlier point, don't see much value really in risking taking him. So I think my play is going to be, will this fight go to distance? And yes.
Nice.
Now it's only paying, 42 cents on the dollar, but it's a high probability. I think there's value in what you said, and that would be like a Marab. There's a boost for Marab over 3.5 rounds at plus 300. I think
Yeah.
that's a little smarter than taking Marab by decision and only getting those 33 cents just because now if Marab finishes them late, which could happen, you're covered. So I as a value
I like
play,
that.
I like
Yeah.
that one, right? You get the 4-to-1 odds, 25 percent implied probability, and it's probably closer to a 35% chance of happening. So yeah, I think that would
I
be
like
it.
that.
But in general, I think there's no real world where this is like a first round early finish. It's
Yeah.
more than likely a decision. But certainly I think more of a over type play. So we'll move on into the main event of the evening, which is Islam Makhachev and Renato Moicano for the worldwide belt of lightweight, and huge, huge odds. This
Yeah.
match was just set hours ago, but yeah, who you liking in this one here?
Yeah, not a lot of time to kind of break this down or look at too much for this matchup, but I mean, Islam minus 1,000 obviously can't take that. Moicano plus 600. I mean, if you want to put a half unit or quarter unit on there and hit the bond and enjoy yourself, that's completely fair. But I do see Islam winning this fight. Of course, he's just been so dominant. There's no prop odds on Bet365 at least right now, so can't really tell you
Hmm.
anything for sure. But if you want to take him, Islam, I think third round finish, second maybe second round feels a little early because I don't know. I just love Money Moicano myself. I've been loving his rise. I've been loving his kind of change of attitude or whatever it is. There's something seemed to click a couple of years ago for him, and he's just been putting on crazy fights, great performances, and he seems to kind of manifested this with him this kind of opportunity for himself a little bit. He's been such a great breath of fresh air a little bit in terms of the UFC. And hearing his kind of post interview fights, post fight interviews. So, who knows with those odds when these odds come out, it's gonna be nuts for Moyakano, like in terms of those props, like him by finish in like the third round, or God knows a decision, like it's gonna be plus 1,000. Like it's gonna be ridiculous. So if you want to take those, I can't fault you. But I mean, I think the money to be made here, at least kind of the best odds is maybe a third round, fourth, or even most people are going to be calling it Islam finish. Let's say it's hard to tell from the props not being here, but most people are going to be saying Islam finish. Maybe Money puts on a crazy fight and he loses in decision, but he puts on a crazy performance that they both kind of seem like winners at the end of the day. Him by decision might be like plus 1,200, plus 1,400. Again, quarter of a unit on there, and you're loving life. So, but yeah, what are your initial thoughts on this matchup here?
It's very similar to you. I want Moicano to win. I think he's hilarious, just like you think that. And I don't know, Islam's kind of just boring and
Yeah,
whatever, and like with the microphone in his hand. So yeah, I personally think there's some value at a 7-1
yeah,
championship fight. They're not that distant in skill, I don't think. I think
right.
it's more of like the betting public, right? Not really knowing Moicano, I think is one, and two, thinking he might not be ready for this. But if you do some digging, I read some articles. He was training for a 5-round fight, and he was training against Southpaws. And he, to your
Fair.
statement, like kind of manifested it. He was ready and prepared for this to happen. So
Yeah,
because of that, I think he should only be like a plus 300 or something.
yeah,
So I'm gonna go on him. You
love it.
can't, especially with no prop bets, you can't go on Islam.
Yeah,
Maybe Bet365 releases it tomorrow morning or something, but until then, I can't lay a bet until
yeah.
I see those. So yeah, I'd probably go like half unit Moicano money line because that's all there is, and just hope for something special to happen. You
And
never know.
sorry to, I just want to jump in there very
Yeah,
quick because I haven't looked at fucking Renato's like whatever, like his history here. But yes, he's won 5 fights in a row, and the only people he's lost to, listen to the only people he's lost to, everyone. Brian Ortega. He has 5 losses, but they're against Brian Ortega, Jose Aldo, Korean Zombie, Rafael Fiziev, and RDA. So that is a hell of a fucking lineup of fighters to lose to. They love to put him up against because he is an exciting fighter a lot of the time. So even early in his career, he was getting finishes. So he was getting crazy matchups as well, right? And because his name wasn't very big, they were kind of using it to build other guys' names. So I think it's his time now, Money Moicano's time, and yeah, I'm loving this just like his momentum he has going, right? I was picking him against Dariush 100%. I was. Dariush is kind of on the two KO losses, kind of on the
yeah.
down low or kind of on the whatever down slope, whereas Renato was on the way up. So Yeah, I mean, 2025, fucking, I guarantee you crazier things are going to happen later this year. We got the inauguration on Monday. Aliens are coming. Who knows what's going to happen this season of Earth 2025? But we've seen a lot crazier things happen in UFC than Moicano winning the lightweight championship. So I don't mind the pick at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I similar to you was on him for his former matchup and I don't know, he looks good in all the interviews I've seen. I'm gonna go check out the weigh-ins here shortly just to see how he looks on the scale, but yeah, the more I think about it,
Kind of loving
well, it's one of those
it.
ones too where it's like, okay, you could win some money, but you want to see it as well. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like a double thing. And then the trap you don't want to go down is like having that bias blind you. So my word of caution is just don't go too heavy.
yeah,
I'll be personally probably half unit max, maybe a unit, but like
yeah,
yeah, this
exactly.
isn't one you're putting the mortgage payment down on.
No,
Sure.
not at all. But yeah, like it's like buy those odds as you already said, plus 700 or whatever it is just for the win. Like
Yeah.
we or 600, sorry, plus 600. So like you
Yep.
got it. It's gonna be fun. I'm
It's
actually
gonna
really
be a
fun.
fun
This
one.
I it's gonna. I'm actually really excited this happened. Kind of
Most times when this does happen, yeah, it's kind of
so
disappointing.
rattled.
You don't like the new matchup or it's canceled altogether. This one
But
here might actually be better in the if Moicano wins, of course. But
yeah, oh yeah, that's
so
gonna be
hey,
amazing.
yeah, things happen for a reason, and maybe it is
Exactly.
his time to get that belt around his waist there. So thanks for tuning in, y'all. We'll be, focusing in on the pay-per-views moving forward. We will see you at the cashier Sunday morning. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll catch you for episode 104 very soon. Let's get
Thanks,
it.
boys. See you next week.